I think the other question that parents often ask is, at what point should we get kind of medical people involved in this? Because what you've been talking about is a social transition, isn't it? And so people are not sure when they should, what advice do you give around that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always helpful to have a GP on board from the onset, even when you aren't just talking about the social stuff, because it's really beneficial to have your GP as that advocate in the system who can be aware of what support is available to you, what other resources are out there, and will have some more like specialist knowledge around medical timelines and when certain things might start. Which is a question I'll put to you,
Yeah.
right? So when do we start talking about medical interventions for a gender diverse young person?
I think it, again, like everything we've said, it's really variable because some kids are very clearly not wanting any medical intervention of any sort, meaning puberty blockers or hormones. And some of those kids are identifying as non-binary, but other kids are just not quite ready. That's they want to explore things in other ways. I still think a conversation can be quite useful, mostly because you don't want to miss windows for change. So by that I mean if you allow a child to go through the puberty that they were assigned at birth, you can miss some things that perhaps you can't go back on so easily. So sometimes just turning up with your child and saying we're not even really sure what we want going forward, but at least having an idea from the GP of what the timeline might be for puberty and when things might change and when other people might choose to do things is quite useful, I think, for families. It doesn't mean you have to do something, it just means at least you have all of the information there. I also think that often parents are worried about their young person's mental health, mostly because there's a lot of mental health issues for young people, full stop, and then they have a challenge that perhaps they may not have another kid at their school, for instance, or in their family, and so it can be really useful for the GP also to link that child with peer support or with that family Facebook group or other family members. I think that's very useful. So just walking away with information, I think, is always empowering for families. Like I said, I think there's some quite good New Zealand resources on. I think the other one to mention is Health Info. So that was written by a lot of us in the community and clinically, and tried to use New Zealand resources where we possibly could. And that definitely has some medical information as well as social supports and things on there as well. So that's definitely worth a look. Yeah.